Welcome, everyone. Today I want you to forget everything you've been told about learning English. Because if watching videos, memorizing grammar rules, and understanding conversations was enough, you would already be fluent by now. Yet here you are, still silent when it's time to speak, still freezing in conversations, still feeling your confidence disappear the moment English comes out of your mouth. And the reason is not that you're stupid, weak, or untalented. The real reason is something no one ever explained to you properly. Your mouth is untrained. You trained your brain with information but never trained your speaking muscles. And English is not just a mental skill. It is a physical one that lives in your lips, tongue, jaw, breath, rhythm, and sound flow. And until those parts are trained daily, no amount of watching or listening will ever turn into fluent speech. That's why this video is different, because today we are not collecting more tips. We are building a real speaking system, something practical, something physical, something that actually changes the way your mouth moves and your brain reacts. Because think about it honestly, you may understand English perfectly, but the moment you open your mouth, your lips feel stiff, your tongue slows down, your voice sounds weak, and your mind goes blank. Not because English is hard, but because your mouth is still stuck in your native language mode, and until you reprogram it, nothing changes. This is exactly like fitness. You can read 100 books about exercise, but if you never train your body, you stay weak. English works the same way. Knowledge without physical repetition does nothing. That's why fluent speakers sound relaxed and confident, not because they know more grammar, but because their mouth has repeated the same sound patterns thousands of times. And this is where the 5-minute daily training system comes in. Not 5 lazy minutes, but 5 focused minutes that work like a gym for your mouth, starting with warming up your lips, tongue, and jaw so your speaking muscles leave your native rhythm and enter English rhythm, because a cold mouth always sounds slow and broken, while a trained mouth sounds smooth and confident. Then comes the mirror technique, where you stand in front of yourself and speak one simple sentence clearly while watching your lips and hearing your own voice. And this step is uncomfortable for most people because it forces you to face your fear. But confidence is not built in comfort. It is built when you stop running away from your own sound. After that comes shadow speaking, one of the most powerful fluency tools in the world, where you listen to real native speech and repeat it immediately, matching speed, tone, rhythm, and emotion without translating in your head. Because fluent speakers don't stop to think word by word. They react, and reaction is built through repetition, not rules. Then you use fluency loops where you say the same sentence slow, normal, and fast, teaching your brain that English speed is safe, natural, and not something to panic about. And when you repeat this daily, something changes quietly. Your pauses get shorter, your mouth starts moving faster, your confidence grows, and your voice begins to flow. Because fluent English is not spoken word by word like a robot. It is spoken in sound clusters, smooth connected phrases that flow like music, not machines. And this flow is what makes even simple English sound powerful and natural, which is why people with small vocabulary often sound more fluent than people with perfect grammar. Because fluency is not about perfection, it is about comfort, rhythm, and flow. But even perfect mouth training will fail if your brain is full of fear, judgment, and overthinking, because your mouth cannot speak freely if your mind is constantly asking, what if I'm wrong? What if they laugh? What if I sound stupid? So you must train emotion along with sound, speaking sentences with feeling, acting them like scenes, using your hands, posture, and body, because when emotion enters, fear leaves. And when fear leaves, fluency begins, Repetition then becomes your strongest weapon, not repeating like a parrot, but repeating smartly, slowly for clarity, smoothly for flow, emotionally for confidence, fast for pressure, and finally in real-life situations. So your brain learns how to use English naturally without freezing, because repetition is not about memorizing sentences. It is about building a voice, a reaction, and an identity. And here is the final truth that most learners avoid. If you only watch English content, you will stay silent. If you only understand English, you will stay silent. But if you train your mouth daily, even for a few focused minutes, your voice will change, your fear will shrink, and one day people will say, "Wow, your English is really good," without knowing the private work you did alone in your room, in front of the mirror, repeating the same sentences again and